Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show. I'm your host, Catherine Basu. And while I personally love the beach, and that's partly why I live less than a mile from the beach right now, my husband is more of a mountain type person. So I'm grateful to him for that because I actually had the chance to visit Snowbird Resort in Utah last month. And while I did not go downhill skiing because I'm a little clumsy, and I did ski the Alps once in high school, and so retired after that. But I did get to enjoy some snowshoeing for the first time, and I met this awesome guy who is our guest today, crazy snowshoe guy, while I was learning to snowshoe at the Snowbird Resort. And he's my guest today after our conversation snowshoeing, and we are going to chat for more than 15 minutes, but Greg has a lot of great tips to share about snowshoeing and his story, and I find him to be very inspirational in general, in addition to his take on fitness and snowshoeing and just living an active lifestyle in particular. So I hope you're going to be okay with us going over 15 minutes. And if you're out on a walk with us, you'll just get to go a little bit longer and get inspired thinking about the snowy mountains of Utah. So, who is Crazy Snowshoe Guy? Crazy Snowshoe Guy was born Greg Frei and raised in the Wasatch Mountains in Utah. Greg lives an active lifestyle, and during the summer months, he spends his time hiking, canyoneering, trail running, and mountain biking. But when the snow flies, skiing and snowshoeing become his passion for not only fitness, but also fun. In addition to Greg's active lifestyle, he works 3 jobs. He's a marketing manager for an adventure resort located on the east rim of Zion National Park, Zion Ponderosa. Spoiler alert, if you want to learn more about that, we did record a second episode and we'll record a third soon about that park. So definitely subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out on those episodes. But Greg has 2 more jobs. So his second job is his foundation that he started, the Glowosaurs Foundation, which helps ill and injured children during a time of need. And finally, he is a snowshoe and hiking guide at Snowbird Ski and Summer Resort. Greg, aka the Crazy Snowshoe Guy, welcome to the Fit 15 podcast. I'm excited to have you here.
Hey, welcome. Yeah, welcome all listeners. Catherine, awesome to talk with you again.
Yeah, so
We
we
met.
actually met at Snowbirds. That's how
Yeah,
this all started.
yeah, that's right. That was fun. So
So
yeah, like you mentioned, I'm a snowshoe guide up at Snowbird Ski and Summer Resort here in Utah, up in the Wasatch Mountains. And I just fell in love with the sport of snowshoeing many years ago. And anyways, I ended up hooking up with Snowbird, and that's a long story, but we can probably condense it into your 15-minute chat time.
sure, sure.
Um, I think that, the coolest thing about that job is that I get to introduce people from all around the world to the snowshoeing extravaganza.
Mm-hmm.
And I teach them a little bit about, technique and, things that I've learned through all my trial and errors. And, you got a taste of that. I mean, what'd you think of the tour?
I thought it was great. That was my first time snowshoeing, so I mean, I had a lot to learn. My first thing I had to learn was that you come with some snow boots is important. So
Yeah, yeah, I kind of sized you up when you first checked in, and I thought, oh God, I'm in trouble. You come in and you wear your marathon T-shirt, and you had on like some really rocking running shoes, and I says, okay, she's going to give me a run for my money, and you sure did. That
but
was
yeah,
fun.
I mean, well, no, I had a great time, and I've done cross country skiing before, and it actually, like you mentioned, I am a runner, and I lived in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts for really just over a year, but it snows a lot there, and I mean, I have to learn to slowly love the snow. I'm more of a beach bum than a snow bunny. So
Yeah,
that's where I picked up my cross country skis. So I was like, I have to do something outside, if I can't really run safely all the time. But I love that. But it was great, just kind of
yeah.
checking out snowshoeing is just a different experience. So
So glad you did, and now here we are talking about it. So that's the cool thing about it there too, I'll tell you how I got started because I think it's kind of cool to tell
Yeah.
that story. Was me and my family and my friends, we all grew up here in Utah, and all the sports here in Utah kind of went extreme. We're kind of
Sure.
known as the state of sport, whether it's skiing or mountain biking or canyoneering or just sport bike racing, whatever. And my brother-in-law, Chris Campbell, is a 13-time finisher of the Wasatch 100. It's 100 miles of heaven and hell running up and down these mountain peaks through all kinds of condition that takes place here in the month of September of every year. And although I never really got into that because I had just enough common sense to say, whoa, Greg, what the hell are you doing? I was always a crew guy, and I'd rev them up and keep them going, and I got addicted to it myself. It's an addictive sport. It's extreme and it's crazy, and it was fun.
Hmm.
And anyways, as we'd run these trails in the summer months, we really got to know our mountains, and over the years, we just kind of just felt right at home, and things kind of went crazy, and we really got into some hard trail running. And winter would come, and it'd be skiing for me, and my brother-in-law, who's the runner, he would never really had much to do. He didn't like to ski that much, so I don't know why, but maybe it was just he was into running. But we heard about the snowshoeing thing about 25 years ago, and I suggested to Chris, I says, why don't we pick up some snowshoes and give it a try?
Hmm.
And we did, and when we did that, snowshoeing became extreme. I mean, it really did. We were like, we'd hike our trails in the summer months and fall and spring, and we'd scout our lines for what would this look like in the wintertime with 10 feet of snow, 15
Right.
feet of snow, and really kind of.
All right, friends, that's your halfway point reminder if you only have 15 minutes to join us and need to turn around. But I do hope you will come back and listen to the full episode when you have time. We have lots of great chatting points coming your way. All right, back to you, Greg.
Imagine that world. And we'd see these cliffs and these rocks and these boulders and these trees and all these things that would fall over in the forest. And we'd say, man, if that was winter and there was 20 feet of pow, we could hit that and fly and land in nothing but a, bowl of feather light powder.
Yeah.
And so, you reach my passion. Everything I do it because I love it. And if I don't love it, I'm.
No, and I'm sure other people do too. So we'll have to see like what some of their questions are and what we can get out of it. But yeah, no, it's been so great reconnecting. And even though I'm looking at the beach right now, you're probably looking at some snow. So it's kind of funny how that
Yeah,
works, right?
yeah, yeah, I know. It's always the grass is greener sometimes, but we live in our worlds and you make the best of it wherever you are. And I think, I don't know. I mean, certainly I am really grateful and fortunate to have a mindset and a ability to literally be 20 minutes away from my favorite trails, like you can be right to your favorite beach,
Right.
and and make the best of it.
I will link in the show notes of one of my favorite little spots there over in Snowbird now, which is a lodge space. So in between your snowshoeing and or skiing, you can check that out as well. Wanted to let you know that as I mentioned in the beginning, or did as a little teaser, that I did record a little bit more with Greg for some quick tips, or as quick as we could be, for Zion National Park, which he had mentioned